Peace and blessings. This is your boy Gerald. It is Saturday, the 16th of January, 2016. How is everybody doing? I'm about to start my day, y'all. I hope your weekend is going well. I know that some of you may have already entered the 3-day weekend that we know as Martin Luther King. Wherever you are, wherever you go, where you coming from, I want you to take a second to reflect on what this 3-day may mean and how it applies to you. To some, this is just another extra day off from the grind. To others, it is a means to take inventory of where they are currently. And then there are those that will not ignore the struggle. The struggle was shared amongst all humanity because it required balance. This balance was placed on the burdens of those that had a belief. They didn't see an outcome because the beginning of that journey, there was many obstacles, many blocks, many people that decided to just go with the status quo or go with the flow, only to watch it evolve through the generations to just be another day. But for some of us, it's much, much more because it is a reminder that every day there should be always a means to strive to be the best you. So I ask this question to each and every one of you at this time. Do you have a relationship with yourself? Do you know who you are? If you do not know who you are, make this the weekend that you decide to invest in you. It's quite obvious when you look around the world, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of turmoil. And we could easily say that it's based off of miscommunication. Some that is done through vibrato, others by just strong arming the situation or allowing the next opportunist to stand on its soapbox. But I believe that everything has a divine reason that is being shown. How does that pertain to you? It pertains to you every day. Because, see, the person you're destined to become is not going to be the person you are now. But the decisions that you make today will have a direct correlation and effect on the person that you will be. This will be the things that will be found on your back. You know how I always like using the metaphor of the emotional backpack because the emotional backpack is what represents the core essence of who you are, the way you think, the way you act, and how you correspond with people outside your door. So there is a responsibility to be the best you. But I also understand this. Some of us may not have gotten there yet. Some of us may be feeling that we have a shackle still placed on our ankle, and we may be that proverbial bird that wants to fly but cannot because the cage is found inside our minds. So I ask you, what has got you so churned up? What is blocking you from your next step? What is keeping you in place? But more importantly, what is preventing you from loving you? it is very obvious there'll never be another you to walk on this planet. So your experience and what you see, as well as the actions that come from you, have importance. You are the master of that masterpiece. Your sculpture will be your legacy, your testimony that will be left behind for those that will come behind you to learn, to marvel, to emulate. So once again, what's got you stuck? So we are in the midst of the Martin Luther King holiday. For some, I say to you, give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to reflect. Do something that steps out of your norm but brings you to a higher level of who you really are. Maybe this is the weekend that you will take yourself out on a date. How about an emotional date where you allow yourself to actually start to heal? But see, I understand because see, that thing that we know is fear. Finally, everything's a reality, as I like to metaphorically use that word, has convinced us through using Stockholm syndrome as well as doubt. Now, I told you there are things going on that you cannot see, but you feel, and that is nothing but the spiritual realm. That's why I always convey, of course, angels are real. Why you think that that last dilemma that you knew that you saw no outcome, you got to pass? Because guess what? You've got work to be done. I don't have to remind you that demons are real because you see them always being manifested through the people that are connected or have access to you. You see that in the backlash in their disposition. But one thing is for sure, you are loved unconditionally. And I think some of you are standing at that crossroads and you want to have to make a decision for yourself. You're going to have to make that courageous step by lifting that one foot up and claiming you. Doesn't mean that you're going to see the outcome right then and there. It's not supposed to play out that way. Because, see, what is at stake is your journey. For that person that may thinking that, well, Gerald, I've done so much dirt. I've caused so much pain. I've caused so much disrespect to my name. I don't deserve anything. Don't you know the devil is a liar? He wants you to embrace that. He doesn't want you to grow. And we all know that things that are stagnant die. But guess what? It doesn't exclude you from the work that you're required to do from the inside out. Don't you realize there are people that are going to come behind your path that are going to learn from your mistakes the moment that you decide to claim you? I know I'm talking to someone. So as I start my day, had a small bout with my immune system. By all means, people, I tell you right now, drink your water. Eat the food that will help you grow. Allow your system to detox if needed. But start, more importantly, by detoxing your mind. Why are you holding on to that burden? Why are you holding on to that allegiance with that person that is dragging you down? Do you have a love affair with your burden? Or are you afraid that if you do something different, you have no control, which means you have control issues subconsciously? If you do not, you will repeat the generational cycle as we know is a generational curse. I don't have to tell you. All you have to do is look at your family tree. You think everything that you've seen from the youngest age to present date is just by chance? No. 50% was by choice. and 50% was by reaction. But even with anything that reaction, you still have a choice how you react. So I ask you this weekend, do something that you haven't done in a long time and have that conversation, not only with yourself, but that conversation with the man above. Because you got to understand, every day that you wake up, every opportunity, even right now, you're hearing my voice. You think that's just by chance? No, no, it's not. Because I'm just like you. I'm a vessel. I'm a conduit. I'm a conduit of the Holy Spirit. He's using me to reach you. Because guess what? Nobody likes watching people die slow. Maybe that's the reason why the people that love you unconditionally are not around you now. I know I'm talking to someone because maybe they have saw something in you that you could not see. Maybe they saw something that was going to occur that they were wanted to shield the pain from, but because of our pride, because of our ego, we rebel. Does it strike you that look at your life and look at the things you've been exposed to, and you see the different layers of development, right? And you can see people's behaviors, and you say to yourself, that was me. I used to do just like that. And then you say to yourself, now I know why my mother or my dad told me that one day I will understand. Maybe they were trying to protect you from yourself. Maybe they were trying to offset the pain that you did not see because they saw the lessons in you from them. I know I'm talking to someone. There's somebody right now watching this, listening to this video, and you know that everybody in your family are natural geniuses. But because they got low self-esteem, they want to go and become America's Most Wanted. And it's a contradiction because you say, well, you know what? If they would only apply themselves, I know I'm talking to someone, they can be anybody they choose. They can accomplish anything they desire if they only believed in themselves. Maybe you are the inspiration that will change that. I keep trying to tell you. Some of you are born to be the matriarch of your family. That is not a role that is just chosen. It's inherited spiritually. Why you think people gravitate towards you so much? Like attracts like. So how your feet are grounded is what your actions are going to show. But guess what? You can't have it both ways. What does your heart tell you? What does your mind validate? And what does your actions show? Don't you realize even though there's a spiritual battle going on, there's still a spiritual battle going on for your soul? Oh, yes, I feel your pain and I pray for you too. Because, see, the life that's intended is yours. It's your dreams, it's your realities. But you got to invest those seeds. But I also know that we don't like the truth now, don't we? We do everything we can to sugarcoat it instead of taking accountability for it. We try to deflect it. We try to bend it. We try to manipulate it so it suits us, only to turn around and come back to fix what should have been naturally progressive. That's not supposed to be your life, y'all. It's not. But then again, I know there's plenty of people that think, well, Gerald, you are very optimistic. And I tell them this, when it comes to your life, why shouldn't I be? Why shouldn't you have the things that make your reality, your dreams a reality? I can't do your work. It's your life. Do you expect me to be one of those that will sit in the cheap seats and naturally distract you from yourself? No. Because see, Gerald's got to do his work, and Gerald will do it. And I say that out of compassion, not out of arrogance. That is maybe the reason why you are seeing the things you're seeing, hearing the things you're hearing, and your heart and spirit is reacting accordingly. Because that emotional backpack has gotten really full, it's gotten really heavy, and it's got you frustrated. You know why it's got you frustrated? Because it's time for you to take that backpack off, dump out those woes on that table, and take accountability for everything that's in it. That's right. See, until you understand your purpose, you will not understand your direction. But if you don't know who you are to begin with, none of that matters. I might as well be giving you a map and it's written in Portuguese. What's the point? It's pointless. But everything makes sense in the intended time. Because guess what? It's ordained. Don't you understand? God's will shall be done with or without your consent. That's why he is a custom tailored God. That's why he's been showing you the things he has. And I know somebody's going to say, well, all I've seen is pain, Gerald. All I've seen is disappointment, Gerald. How you going to come out your mouth and say God loves me? Because you refuse to take ownership in the roles that you played in it. So once again, people tend to rebel on the things they do not know. They do not know because they don't invest in themselves. That's where the clarity comes. And don't you think you're worth it? That's how that fear creeps in your life. Everybody knows this. 9 times out of 10, people will rebel to the things they know nothing about. But before that can happen, there must be a placement of fear, a place of misunderstanding, a place of doubt. These are all negatives. But the moment that you decide to look that beautiful little boy or little girl that's inside you in that mirror wholeheartedly and say, I love you. I really do. Yes, we've made some bad choices, but it's going to be all right. This ain't the end all. This is not the end all be all. God's got something better for me. And maybe that's the reason why, for those that long for a genuine companionship, the one has not come. Because before the one can walk into your life by God's direction, you must prepare. That's where the secret of it was it the law of attraction is. That's what it's all about, y'all. We attract what we are. So if your environment's full of people that are taking from you, it's because in your spirit, that's what's there. See, that's the marker. If you have people in your life that will not be trustworthy because that's found in you, that's the marker. If you have people in your life that have no love, it's because that's what's found in you. That's the marker. So it only can exist as long as you do not acknowledge it. So don't you think you're worth it? I do. But I also know this. The reality is you have some people that will not take accountability for their lives. And they will aimlessly go through life looking for what I would call a false crusade. You see them on your job, you see them in your environment. These are the ones that choose to walk in the darkness because that is all they know. These are the ones that want to shake up the foundation. They're required to be there because your life is a test. If you don't test it, how do you know that it will last? If you do not assess it, how do you know its worth? But we all know this: those who walk in the darkness by choice will always be attracted to those who walk in the light. That's about the spiritual balance. And that is a balance that is found in us all. See, it's a choice, y'all. If you want to wake up and wreak havoc, that's a choice. If you don't want to do that, that's a choice. But what cannot be um, ignored is the fact that it's free will. So you're going to sit over here and entertain someone taking your precious time. You're going to you're going to align yourself with people that will not grow. And these people have actually told you in so many words, have actually told you in anger what their position was. But for some reason, instead of tending in what's going on in our yards, we want to go in our neighbor's yard. I know that needs to go out to someone. You need to cut your grass before you go worrying about theirs. And when you decide to do that, guess what? Your viewpoint from the inside out will be made new. For those people that are in the midst of their spiritual storm, let me convey this to you. Glory be to God. Because what you might not realize right now, you are going through a authentication process. All the things that you may have willfully or not known took in for your personality and your actions, well, guess what? They're being authenticated now. And with that being said, real recognizes real. So what I'm gonna tell you this. This is how you know. Spiritually, those people that don't have your best interest, you won't have access to them. Every time that you try to, they're gonna always be some type of reverb or some type of distortion. It'll be very, very hard because what's going on spiritually, you're being protected. You're being blocked. This goes from the flip side, the opposite. If you're choosing to do dirt and recap, guess what? Those people that don't walk with you won't have access to you, and you won't have access to them. Why? Because they're covenanted. So you have to make a choice. Do you want to spend the rest of your days suffering in silence? Ain't nothing worse than doing time in your mind. You're a prisoner to your own mind. And you think, well, maybe if I take the next step and I act brand new or do things that I normally are out of character, this will bring me one step closer. No, it won't. It just lets the other person know that they have their hooks in you one step deeper. That's why narcissists exist. That's why manipulators exist. But that's okay. Because just as it was said in the Bible, you reap what you sow. So highly represent. I highly recommend. You gotta bear with me, y'all. I'm still nursing this cold, but I feel a whole lot better. It's time for you to have the courage to love yourself. I know this needs to go out to someone. Doesn't matter how many you can get. It doesn't matter how much allure that you got. If there's no love in it, it won't last. So you can choose to treat your life like a turnstile, and there'll be many. But the more and more you choose to go that route, the more depleted you feel. I know I'm talking to someone. That's not your walk. That ain't who you are. Take the mask off. You ain't got to worry about it because eventually that mask is going to fall from itself anyway because the real you is going to come. So, this is Martin Luther King weekend. Just take a second to acknowledge those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. Let your ego fall from you because guess what? There were non-minorities in that fight too. What was at stake was for humanity, was for equality, was for mankind, and it was forged by love. So think about it. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have you and the opportunities that you have today. Even if you say it sucks, Gerald. Well, if it really sucks so bad, why are you there? Why won't you do something different? Maybe this is the moment that you should be real with yourself and stop running. Stop running from yourself. That's why I always use the analogy you can pack your bag and move to Seattle. It don't matter. It's still you. So be true to yourself by loving yourself, investing in yourself, and always place God first in everything you do. And when you do that, guess what? Not only will you know your direction, you will see your purpose, but you will actually see the greatest investment ever. And that's the person looking right back at you. And that's you. Be blessed, y'all. Have a great and safe weekend.